In this tutorial, I will show you how to upload your study onto Qualtrics. Before you start uploading your study onto Qualtrics, there are two things that you need to do. First, you need to make an outline of how you expect your study to flow, and you also need a folder with all the files that you plan to upload to Qualtrics. Let's look at the outline. As you can see here, we expect all participants to go to the consent form. If they say no, they do not want to participate in the study, then they're taken to a thank you page. If they do want to participate in the study, then you might send all the participants to an introduction, after which you'll send them to scales, measures that you might want to do before the manipulation. After that, you want to randomly assign people to one of any number of conditions, and then you want to send everyone to the DVs, and then you want to debrief them. So that's a sample outline. Yours might be a little bit different, but the ideas, the concepts will still be the same when you're designing your study. When you get your username, you'll be given a link, a URL to which you need to go in order to log in. Once you're there, simply log in, and then to create a new survey, simply click Create Survey. And we can actually use the Quick Survey Builder. So click Continue and give your survey a name. You can save that survey into the folder of your choice and click Create Survey. Now in Qualtrics, your questions will be organized in blocks. Let's go back to our outline. Each of these boxes would represent blocks or groups of questions that are kept together throughout the entire study. Let's go back to Qualtrics. You'll see that you have options. This is a block right here, and you can actually, when you start entering questions, you can create new blocks or remove blocks and all of that. But that's just a way to organize our questions. Now let's change this block to our consent form. Then select Create a New Question. We have to change the question type. For this question, we'll need, let's make it multiple choice, because we want to give the participants the option of selecting I do agree or I do not agree. So multiple choice, but they'll only select one. So make sure that single answer is selected. And let's start to do this. Click on the area where it says click to write text and click on rich text editor. Now you can copy and paste your consent form in this section, but I prefer to upload it as an image. So what I did, I converted my PDF to an image. It's very easy to do that when you're in Adobe Acrobat, a professional version. So click this icon right here to insert image. And if you haven't already uploaded the image, select Upload a New Graphic and follow the instruction. Otherwise, simply find your consent form. To get out of this, simply click somewhere outside of the box. And that's our consent form. Now scroll down, and this is where you give the options. Now we'll have to get rid of this option and do that by reducing the number of choices over here. So click the minus sign, or you could type in 2 right here. So let's click the minus sign, and we'll see that the extra option went away. Now the next thing is we'd want to upload our introduction. So let's add a block, change the block name, and only you will see these block names. Your participants will not see them. Select Create a New Question, and let's do text and graphic. Click to write text, and this is where you would just copy and paste your introduction. Well, obviously you wouldn't write blah blah blah, but you get the idea. Or you could click Rich Text Editor and enter the text in there. And to see an example of how this question would show up, simply click Preview Question. Now let's go back to our outline. So we did our consent form, we did our introduction, We can actually wait until the last page to do this thank you page. Now we need to enter some scales. There's a very quick and easy way to do this if you have all your questions in a Word document. Now before you can upload several questions to Qualtrics at once, you have to make sure that you format the questions properly in a Word document. So let's do that. This is our original document, but we have to format this for Qualtrics to understand. So we have different types of questions here. These are multiple choice questions where we expect participants to select just one of the option. Then we have this matrix type questions where participants are given several statements and they can make their ratings over here. So let's format them for Qualtrics. First you have to do a number followed by a period, and Word has the numbering option right here, so that's a big help. And then you have the question and the answer options. But what you need is a space, like an extra line between the question and the options. So go through and create our extra lines and make sure to remove the numbers. We only need the extra lines between the question and the options, because whenever Qualtrics sees the number and the period, it's going to know that a new question starts here. So just enter backspace. Now for this section right here, what we're basically doing is we need to design a matrix. So this is how it's done. We're going to make this into question 6 and enter, enter, and for each of these options we're going to put these under, well, our extra line, remember that, and we need each of our options in a different line. I think this should be formatted properly. Again, the question, a line, extra line, the options. Now let's save this file. File, click Save As. We have to save it as text format. Instead of a Word document, we'll save it as just plain text. Let's go back to the question name and put .txt. Then click Save. Select OK. Now our file is saved. Let's go back to Qualtrics. Scroll up to Advanced Options and select Import Survey. Choose the file we just created and select Import. Now let's scroll down. Here are our questions and here are all the options. If you want to include your demographics here, you could select question and then include the questions here. And Qualtrics is very good at recognizing and anticipating what you're trying to type. So upon typing gender, it gave me the options of male and female. So that's good. Now you can see that the question types for these multiple choice, single answer, which means the participants will only be able to select one. Scroll down and you see that each, you have the question and then you have the answer choices. Now let's look at these. The matrix type question. Make sure that matrix is selected, and then here are our questions or statements, and then the participants will rate these over here. If you do automatic scale points, you'll see that Qualtrics can actually automatically do the strongly disagree to strongly agree options for us. You could click this arrow and there are many different options that we could use, but let's stick to agree disagree for now. That was a very quick way to upload multiple questions at once. Now let's go back to our outline and see where we are. We did our consent, we did our intro, we did our scales. Now it's time to do manipulations.